On a chain of islands clinging to the very edge of Britain, the wind blows so hard it has shaped the landscape itself. Trees grow horizontally. Houses are built low to the ground. And the ferries that connect these islands to the mainland cancel more often than they run in winter. This is the Outer Hebrides, where 27,000 people live on islands so remote that when the storm comes, they can be cut off from the rest of Scotland for days. No Amazon deliveries. No emergency supplies. No way off. So what is life actually like for the people who live here? The Outer Hebrides stretch for 130 miles off the northwest coast of Scotland. 15 inhabited islands. Lewis and Harris form the largest landmass, though they are technically one island. Below them, North Uist, Benbecula, South Uist, and Barra step southward into the Atlantic. The population has been falling for decades. In 1901, 46,000 people lived here. Today it is 27,000. Most speak English and Gaelic. The islands are closer to Iceland than to London. And when the storms roll in from the Atlantic, nothing stands between these islands and America. The Outer Hebrides are built on some of the oldest rock on Earth. Lewisian gneiss, nearly 3 billion years old. The landscape is treeless. Not because trees cannot grow, but because the wind will not let them. The islands are flat in places, mountainous in others. Harris has peaks over 2,000 feet. Lewis is mostly peat bog and moorland. The western coasts have white sand beaches that could belong in the Caribbean, except the water is 8 degrees Celsius even in summer. The eastern coasts are rocky and indented with sea locks. The weather changes every 20 minutes. Rain, sun, wind, hail, all in one afternoon. The wind is constant. It averages 15 miles per hour year-round, and in winter it regularly exceeds 70. People here do not just check the weather forecast. They check the wind forecast. Because the wind determines everything. Whether the ferry will sail. Whether you can work outside. Whether your roof will stay on. The economy runs on 4 pillars. Fishing and fish farming. Crofting, the small-scale farming of sheep and cattle on tiny plots of land. Tourism, which brings 70,000 visitors a year. And Harris tweed, the world-famous fabric woven by hand in homes across the islands. Harris tweed is protected by an Act of Parliament. To be called Harris tweed, it must be woven by islanders, at their homes, from pure virgin wool dyed and spun in the Outer Hebrides. About 150 independent weavers still work here, most in sheds behind their houses. They produce enough tweed each year to wrap around the earth twice. The other major employer is the public sector. The local council, health service, and schools employ a quarter of the workforce. Unemployment is low, about 3%. But wages are also low. The average salary is £24,000 a year, 30% below the Scottish average. Housing is cheaper, but not as cheap as you would think. A 3-bedroom house in Stornoway, the largest town, costs around £180,000. Rent for a 2-bedroom flat is £600 a month. Heating costs are double what they are on the mainland, because of the wind and the damp. Most people here live in detached houses, often on their own plot of croft land. The traditional housing is the black house, a low stone building with thick walls, small windows, and a thatched roof. Some are still lived in, though most have been abandoned or turned into museums. Modern homes are built low and sturdy, designed to withstand the wind. Flat roofs do not exist here. They would blow off. Gardens are rare. The wind and salt spray kill most plants. Hedges are made of stone, not bushes. Fences are weighed down with rocks. Clotheslines are built like ship rigging. Everything is tied down. Food is expensive. There are supermarkets in Stornoway and a few smaller shops scattered across the islands, but most goods are shipped in by ferry. A loaf of bread costs 30% more than in Glasgow. Fresh vegetables are limited and often wilted by the time they arrive. Many people grow their own potatoes and keep chickens. Seafood is abundant, but surprisingly, locals do not eat as much fish as outsiders assume. Lamb is more common. Hebridean lamb, raised on the Machair, the coastal grassland rich with wildflowers, is considered some of the best in the world. Getting around requires a car. There are buses, but they are infrequent. Most households have 2 cars because distances are long and public transport is unreliable. Petrol costs 10 pence more per litre than on the mainland. There are no trains. The main connection to the outside world is the ferry. Calmac, the ferry company, runs services from Ullapool to Stornoway, and from Oban to Barra and South Uist. The crossing from Ullapool takes 2 hours and 45 minutes. A single-foot passenger ticket costs £13. A car costs £60. The ferries cancel often. In winter, 1 in 4 sailings is disrupted by weather. When that happens, the islands are cut off. No post. No deliveries. No way to leave if you have a hospital appointment or a flight to catch. There is an airport in Stornoway and a tiny airport on Barra, where planes land on the beach at low tide. Flights to Glasgow take less than an hour but cost £200 return if you do not book months in advance. Most people ferry. And when the ferry cancels, they wait. Work here is seasonal and weather dependent. Crofters work their land in summer, shearing sheep, cutting peat, fixing fences. In winter, they take other jobs. Some fish. Some drive trucks. Some weave. Crofting is not a full-time income. The average croft is 5 hectares, too small to support a family. Most crofters earn less than £5,000 a year from the land. They need second jobs. The fishing industry is still significant, though much smaller than it was. Scallops, langoustines, and lobster are the main catches. Fish farming, especially salmon, employs about 200 people. But the industry is controversial. Locals worry about sea lice, pollution, and the impact on wild fish. Tourism provides work for hotels, restaurants, and tour guides, but only in summer. From November to March, most tourist businesses close. There is no winter trade. The schools are small. Some islands have only 1 primary school with fewer than 10 pupils. Teenagers attend secondary school in Stornoway, which means boarding away from home if they live on the southern islands. After that, most leave. There is no university here. Young people go to Glasgow, Edinburgh, or Inverness to study, and very few return. The population is aging. The median age is 46, compared to 40 in the rest of Scotland. Healthcare is basic. There is a hospital in Stornoway with an accident and emergency department, but no specialist services. If you need surgery, cancer treatment, or maternity care beyond a straightforward birth, you are airlifted or ferried to Inverness or Glasgow. Air ambulances fly regularly. In bad weather, patients wait. A man having a heart attack on Barra once had to wait 18 hours for the weather to clear before he could be flown out. He survived, but the fear is real. If something serious happens and the weather turns, you are on your own. Life in the Outer Hebrides is built around community. Everyone knows everyone. That can be comforting or suffocating, depending on your temperament. If your car breaks down, someone will stop. If you are ill, neighbors will check on you. But privacy is hard to come by. People know your business before you do. The church is still central to life here, especially on Lewis, where the Free Church of Scotland holds significant influence. Sundays are observed strictly. Shops close. Ferries do not run. Playgrounds are chained shut. Washing is not hung outside. This is not law, but it is custom, and breaking it is noticed. Not everyone is religious, but even non-believers shape their week around the Sabbath because there is simply nothing open. Younger people chafe against it. Many leave. Gaelic is still spoken, especially in the Western Isles. About 60% of the population speaks it, one of the highest rates in Scotland. Road signs are in Gaelic first, English second. BBC Radio Nan Gaedheal broadcasts from Stornoway. But the language is dying. Children are taught it in school, but they speak English at home and online. The culture is strong but fragile. Music is central. Gaelic psalm singing, piping, and traditional ceilidh dancing are still common. Every summer, the islands host the Hebridean Celtic Festival, drawing musicians from across the world. But for the rest of the year, entertainment is limited. There is one cinema in Stornoway. No bowling alley. No arcade. Teenagers gather in car parks. Many drink. The islands have a problem with alcohol, acknowledged but rarely discussed openly. For families, the pace is slow. Children play outside. Crime is almost non-existent. Doors are left unlocked. But there is also a loneliness, especially in winter, when darkness falls at 3 in the afternoon and the wind howls for days. Outsiders imagine the Outer Hebrides as peaceful, romantic, untouched. The reality is harsher. The beauty is real, but so is the isolation. Living here requires resilience. The weather is relentless. The wind never stops. The rain is horizontal. In winter, you can go weeks without seeing the sun. Seasonal affective disorder is common but underreported. People adapt, but it takes a toll. The cost of living is higher than people expect. Yes, housing is cheaper than in Edinburgh, but energy bills are double. Food is more expensive. Petrol is more expensive. You need a car, and probably two. You need to stock up on supplies in case the ferry cancels. You cannot just pop to the shops. The shops might be 30 miles away, and the road is single track with passing places. The romantic idea of island life does not include sitting in your car in the rain waiting for a tractor to move. The lack of services surprises newcomers. There is no McDonald's. No chain coffee shops. No next-day delivery. If you order something online, it takes a week to arrive, and you pay extra for shipping. Medical appointments require ferry trips. If you need a specialist, you are looking at a full day of travel, possibly an overnight stay. But there are unexpected advantages. The air is the cleanest in Britain. Light pollution is almost zero, and on clear nights the stars are overwhelming. The sense of safety is real. Children walk to school alone. Houses are left unlocked. There is no rush hour. No traffic. The wildness is intoxicating. Otters in the sea locks. Golden eagles overhead. Seals on the beaches. The landscape feels ancient and alive. And despite the hardships, people stay. Or they come back. Many who leave for university or work return later in life, drawn by the pull of home. They will tell you it is hard. They will tell you it is isolating. But they will also tell you they cannot imagine living anywhere else. Living in the Outer Hebrides is not for everyone. It requires a tolerance for wind, rain, isolation, and a pace of life that can feel like moving backwards. The ferries will cancel. The shops will run out of milk. The darkness will press in. But for those who stay, or those who return, the islands offer something increasingly rare. A life shaped not by algorithms or ambition, but by weather, tide, and season. A place where you know your neighbors, where children still play outside, where the land and sea dictate the rhythm of the day. The world is getting faster, louder, more connected. The Outer Hebrides are getting quieter. The population is falling. The young are leaving. The language is fading. In 20 years, these islands may look very different. But for now, 27,000 people wake up each morning to the sound of the wind and the cry of gulls. They check the ferry timetable. They pull on their waterproofs. They get on with it. Because this is not a postcard. This is not a romantic escape. This is home. And home, even when it is hard, even when it is lonely, even when the wind blows so hard you can barely stand, is the place you choose to stay. On the edge of Britain, where the Atlantic meets the land, life continues as it has for centuries. Shaped by the storm. Held by the sea. Anchored to the rock.